Welcome back. You're watching Daily Mirror. Would you go down a well to rescue a leopard? That too, a stranded leopard which has been starving for days. Most of us would probably sit this one out, but not Dr. Meghana Pemmaiah. She's a vet by profession, but today she turned into a daring rescuer. Meghana rescued a leopard which had fallen into a well near Kateel, which is in Karnataka, and she did it in the most courageous way possible. Take a look at how Mission Leopard unfolded.
Dr. Meghana makes the final checks before her daring rescue operation. The tranquilizer darts are loaded. The cage door is shut. And the countdown is on. Not many vets descend into a well to rescue a leopard. But today is one of those days. Meghana's mission is to sedate a 1-year-old leopard trapped inside this well. The forest department tried hard to rescue it, but no luck. In the end, they called in 3 vets. Dr. Meghana, Dr. Prithvi and Dr. Nafisa. Meghana was chosen to go down the well. But getting to the leopard would not be easy. Parts of this well, including where the animal was hiding, had caved in. So Meghana was lowered inside this cage by the locals and the forest department. Armed with a tranquilizer and some courage, she went in. Meghana sedated the leopard by firing a dart. She then pulled the big cat inside the cage. Mission accomplished. Finally, the locals pulled the cage up to reveal the leopard. There it was, majestic but unconscious on the floor of a cage. These magnificent beasts are listed as vulnerable by global wildlife bodies. They are found in sub-Saharan Africa, parts of Western and Central Asia, and also in the Indian subcontinent. In 2014, there were around 7,900 leopards in India. That number jumped to 12,800 by 2018. The leopard has been an unwitting beneficiary of India's tiger conservation drive. But challenges remain. Habitat loss is forcing leopards to venture into human settlements. Here, they encounter violent humans, other animals, and sometimes uncovered wells. India doesn't have a concerted leopard conservation campaign. Even the census is part of Project Tiger and not a separate one. For a country that prides itself on loving wildlife, that's not acceptable.
Let me go straight across to Dr. Meghana, who is joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Meghana, I'm going to ask you what I'm sure many people want to ask you. What were you thinking when you were being lowered down into that well with a hungry leopard waiting for you?
We had taken all the safety precautions, so I didn't have to worry about that part. So we had planned and thought it through, and then, only then did I take the chance of getting into the cage and going down.
But did it turn scary at any point? I'm sure it did at multiple points.
I mean, it is always scary when you're working with a wild animal, no? Like every case, not just this one, any wild animal when I'm working with, especially, I do have a little bit of that fear. But actually, I think it's good that I have that little fear. That means I'm careful when I'm making decisions. I'm not overconfident. So I think that's fine.
Okay, so just tell us how the entire operation is planned. Villagers inform the forest department that a leopard, approximately 1-year-old, has fallen into the well. How do you guys come into the picture?
So actually, the leopard, I think, had fallen into the well around Saturday only, so Saturday early morning. And the forest department, because they've seen a lot of around this area, they've seen a lot of cases like this where a leopard falls into a well. And previously and all, when they've used a ladder and a cage and they've completely covered the well with a net, so the leopard has itself climbed the ladder and gone into the cage and stuff. So, but unfortunately for in this case, the well at the bottom, it had a little bit of like a caving in, like a little crevice there. And this leopard had just gone and made itself safe over there. And because of all the people around and commotion, it thought that would be the safest point for it and not to come out. So they had tried for a day, and because the leopard hadn't come into the cage, that's when they called Dr. Yashasvi. So he generally handles all the wildlife cases around in and around Mangalore. So he just got our team members together, like me, Dr. Prithvi, Dr. Nafisa, and Dr. Yashasvi. So all four of us then we went to the spot. And once we had gotten on, like when we went to the spot, actually everything was already managed. So the forest department had procured the gun and kept, and the cages were ready. Everything was ready. So we just had to tell them our plan, and they were ready to help us out. So it was actually a well coordinated this one between our team, the forest department, and the locals also. Because without even one of us, if at all we had messed up, the whole operation could have gone really wrong. But after that, when we saw, initially when we saw from the top of the well, it was about 30 feet down, we couldn't see the leopard at all. We had seen the leopard at all. So we didn't know how big it was it injured, nothing. So we had no idea. So the only way we realized was to get down there and dart it. So and after that, I decided to get into the cage. So we prepared the gun, the darts, got all the syringes, took one box into the cage. And then with the help of the locals and the forest department, they slowly, got the cage down. They had a lot of coordination and everything. And they slowly managed to get me very safely down to the bottom of the well. And the moment I got down, I could see it right in front of me. She was growling, like giving me a warning sort of a thing. And I knew this was my only shot, because if I had missed this shot, she would have definitely, come attack the cage or something, and she would have gotten really frightened, obviously. So I knew it was my only shot. So I assessed the weight, then the anesthesia, everything, loaded everything. And I think I did. It barely took me some 2 minutes. I just took the shot. Luckily, it just hit the right spot. And within 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes actually, the animal then was sedated. And after that, I tried getting it into the cage, but it was too heavy for me. So then a local also got down through a rope. Then he helped me get into the cage, and then they very carefully got us both back up.
But here's the thing, Dr. Meghna, you were in that cage with the leopard. All right, it was sedated, but was there a thought in your head, oh my God, what if it suddenly awakes? What happens then? Because it's you and him in the cage together.
No, that part, I mean, a little bit was there, but at that point, for me, it was, this is our only chance to get the leopard back up. If something goes wrong now, then we'll have to do the whole operation again. So all those things didn't strike at that point, but maybe like once all the operation was done, then we were thinking, when we were talking, and we were like, oh, so many things could have gone wrong, but it just, like, with all the team efforts from everyone, it actually went well.
Okay, and can I quickly ask you then, what happened to the leopard after it was rescued? You bring it back. What happens after that?
Oh, after that, our team of vets, they checked the leopard. It's completely fine. Luckily, like, even though it had fallen from a height and all, there were no injuries. Just a little bit of dehydration, obviously, because it was in the well for 2 days. So after that, we checked the animal. Since there was no major injuries, we gave the necessary medications and all, and we also gave a reversal so that the animal, gets back into consciousness faster. After that, once we checked everything, we told the forest department that it was fit for release, and then the Modbidri Forest Department. So they took the decision of releasing it back to the wild.
Okay, you've mentioned that you've seen many such situations in the area before. Why is it that leopards, which are such shy animals, end up coming near human settlements?
Actually, it's all these places, no, they have dogs and cats and all, and there's a easy prey for the leopard. So in an attempt to catch a dog and all, and they, in that adrenaline rush, they run, and then if the well is not covered, generally they do fall into the well. So it's just, when they are hunting for prey, only that time, during the night time and all, it happens quite often.
Before I end, what did your parents say when they saw this video that has now gone viral?
No, they're always, my mom is very supportive of all this. My entire family is. And they just tell me, be careful. Don't do anything out of, that, that adrenaline rush. And sometimes we just go like overconfident. Don't do all that. Just think properly. And if you think you can do it, then just do it. Nothing like it.
Well, you did manage to do it. You did manage to do it. Dr. Meghna, thank you very much. Many congratulations for that daring rescue. I'm sure the leopard and his family are thanking you as well. Thank you, Dr. Meghna, for joining us on the broadcast. And with that, I'm slipping into a quick break as well.